Guys, Rooster here in Tennessee. Got a video for you here. One driving, two driving 12, all Toshiba transistors. So one Toshiba 2290 driving two Toshiba 2879s, driving 12 Toshiba 2879s. Kind of a cool amp. It is an old fat boy. You wouldn't know it by looking at it outside the cabinet because it has had a very nice paint job put on it. But if you get close up here on the face, I don't even know if you guys can see that on the camera, but you can see the lettering if you get real close to it. So 4 fans on it. This switch is your one driving two. This switch is your 12. You can run the amplifier turned on with either one. Either switch will power the amp up. When you have both of them up, you've got a one driving, two driving 12. This one down, you've got a straight 12. This one down, this one up, you've got a one driving two. So we plan to test it in all the phases of it here. I do have it hooked up to the 600 amp power supply. 15.1 is our idle voltage, and when we put a draw on it, it seems to drop down to about 15 flat. So that's what we're going to be testing it with. Toshiba transistors do like a little bit of voltage. Back in the day when they were plentiful, people would run them 17, 18 volts all day long. It does come with a remote that you can run hooked up to the back of it. This will turn your one driving two on as indicated, and this will turn your 12 on. Now, to be transparent about the amp, it did have a repair done to it at some time in its life. All 12 Toshibas are matching. The one driving two section has been replaced at some point. So they marked them when they replaced them. That's the only reason that I know. But they did replace them with matching transistors. So just putting that out there so everybody knows, if you take the covers off of it, they are marked. The one driving two section has been replaced at one time. Probably somebody overdrove it with a high power radio, and you guys know the rest. If you plan to run this amp fully, powered up with the, one driving, two driving 12, you don't need anything more than like a Cobra 29, Galaxy 959, Uniden, something like that. You don't need a dual final radio. Now, if you just want to run the straight 12, you can run whatever you want to into it. 400 or 500 watts, whatever. But if you just want to run, if you want to run it as, its full potential, one driving, two driving 12, it's a low drive amp. As far as our test today, we probably aren't going to see the best output because I noticed testing it earlier, cables were getting a little bit warm. Anytime you have the cables getting warm, you're obviously having some sort of loss in there. And we don't have a good enough ground going to it either. So a little bit of both going on there. We've only got a 4-gauge wire coming off for ground. I would recommend the biggest you can get, the biggest you can afford coming off there. 4 is not enough really, but we're just testing it out here. So here's your hot wires over here. Again, these are the hot wires. It had an Anderson connector on it before. I just took that off, and that way we could hook it up to our cables and test it. 4-pin plug on the back there. This is your input over here. This is your output over here. I hope I got that right. Let's see. Hold on. Let's make sure I'm not lying. Okay, I got that completely wrong. So I'm not going to restart the video because I got that wrong. I'm just following the coaxes here. So this one coming from the radio goes around, back behind. That's your input. This, up, down, behind, into the bird meter. That's your output. Bird meter is not my typical bird meter. I've got the back off of it so you guys can see. It does have a real bird peak kit in it. I just put 2 brand new cheapo batteries in there. It was acting a little crazy earlier, but I think it's because the batteries were about dead. So that's not my typical bird, not the same one that I run in there on the other test table. But I did want to show you guys the inside of it so you don't think it's some sort of phony baloney bird meter peak kit or whatever. No multipliers. We run the real deal here. So, okay, that's enough jibber jabber. Golly, almost 5 minutes going here and haven't even tested the amp yet. So let's get on with the show. The first thing I want to do is test the one driving two, and I'm going to tell you guys, this is a badass one driving two section on this thing. Holy moly. I didn't think my watt meter was reading right, but when I saw how much current it's drawing, man, this thing is something else. Let's test it here. This is just the one driving two, 2500 watt slug, top scale. Hello, audio. Now your eyes aren't deceiving you. That's somewhere between 350 and 400 watts average. Again, it could be reading a little bit loose because we're on the 2500 watt slug, 2500 watt scale, trying to read a reading that is below 500. Ideally, we'd have a 1000 watt slug in there, but we're not going to do all that switching back and forth. We're just going to run what we got. This is PEP audio. 1, 2, 3 PEP. 1, 2, 3 PEP audio. So that's just shy of 750 is what it's showing here. Again, with a 1000 watt slug, I would expect that to be a little bit less. But man, this, I'm telling you, this one driving two is something else. This is a wicked one driving two. Let's see how much current it draws. Audio, holy crap. Audio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Audio. Easily in the 60s. It did bounce up in the 70s there at one point. So if you have any doubt about the power that the one driving two section is doing in this thing, I mean, holy smokes, it is flat getting with it. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we'll turn the 12 pill section on. And again, guys, I think we could do a little bit better with a little bit better wiring situation, but still gonna see some good output out of this guy. I think you'll be pretty happy with how it does. So we're back on average power, looking at the top scale. Hello. Over 1,000 average. And with better wiring, I think we could get up there about 1,200 average. And again, we're only at 15 volts. So these Toshibas are a lot like 2879Cs. When you start putting the voltage to them, they will really come alive. But at the same time, they're not readily available anymore. So, you know, beware of that. This is PEP, top scale. Audio. About 2300 PEP. So she's getting with it pretty good. I think when people used to volt these a little more, run them up there 16 volts or so, I don't think it'd be, beyond belief to see, 3 kW out of this thing. But running at 15 volts, pretty solid numbers there. Again, just a little bit of time we've been on it. I can feel the cable over here and tell you that it's warm. So again, that tells you that our cables are not up to snuff. That will change in the future, though. Let's see if we can get this some light here. Okay, we're just going to give it an audio and see how much current it draws with the both units turned on. Audio. So it did go up to 190 there at one time. When I was fiddling with it earlier, I saw it bounce up to about 195, 198, but hanging around in the 180s there for the most part. That's it. So, I don't know what you guys think. One driving, two driving, 12. All Toshiba 2879s. It does come with the remote. I had this amp at Manchester, and I had a lot of interest in it. A lot of people were interested in it. I'm sure for a couple of different reasons. For one, there is a pile of money in Toshiba transistors in this thing. If you're somebody that has an even larger Toshiba amp, there's some money to be had by taking all of them out of it and then putting something else back in it. Whether you want to repill it with HGs or, modify it to run 2879Cs. There is some money to be made by doing that. People like to sell a transistor sometimes. But again, I had a lot of interest in it at Manchester. I had 2 or 3 people that I thought were pretty close to buying it. They didn't gripe about the price or anything. They just couldn't make their mind up whether they wanted it or not. So that's it, guys. A Fat Boy 1 driving 2 driving 12 Toshiba amp, and a nice clean paint job on this thing. All right, everybody, have a good one out there. Rooster in Tennessee. Questions, comments, shoot me a text, 423-299-3535. This one will not be on the website, so if you're interested in it, shoot me a text message and we can discuss it there. 1 driving, 2 driving, 12. Catch you guys out there. Rooster in Tennessee. See you, bye.